Welcome to Mindful Moments. Nourish your mind on the go. This audio uses AI narration to present our original book analysis. Ready to travel back in time? We're about to take a deep dive into Mark Twain's A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. So imagine a practical 19th century American suddenly finding himself in 6th century Britain, surrounded by knights, chivalry, and the legendary King Arthur.
A real culture clash. It's fascinating to see how Twain uses this fish out of water scenario. The Yankees' reactions to Arthurian England are hilarious, but also insightful. Yeah. He's both amused and frustrated by their superstitions and blind faith in things like Merlin's magic.
It's like he's holding up a mirror. Not just to Arthurian England, but also to the hypocrisies of his own time. But he doesn't just observe, right? He uses his modern knowledge in some pretty ingenious ways, staging a fake eclipse to save his own skin.
Oh, yeah.
That's classic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And he doesn't stop there. He introduces technology like gunpowder and telephones, essentially becoming this accidental revolutionary. The economics lesson he tries to give a medieval blacksmith is a prime example of Twain's critique of protectionist policies. He highlights the absurdity of it all by placing these concepts in such a wildly different context.
It's like Twain is saying, hey, look how ridiculous some of these systems are.
Agreed.
Whether it's feudalism or the economic inequalities of the Yankees' own time. But let's not forget the lighter side of the novel, the Yankees' adventures with Sandy, rescuing hogs, and encountering the unforgettable Demoiselle Alison la Carteloise add a layer of pure entertainment.
Twain was a master at weaving humor, romance, and social commentary together. Even those seemingly lighthearted moments often carry deeper meaning. Think about that elaborate name, Demoiselle Alison la Carteloise. It's so over the top. It has to be a jab at the absurdity of aristocratic titles.
Okay, so the Yankee is shaking things up, challenging norms, and even finding love along the way. But his efforts to modernize Arthurian society eventually lead to conflict, particularly with the church.
That clash is inevitable. The church represents the entrenched power of tradition and dogma, and they see the Yankees' progressive ideas as a threat. Their conflict builds to a dramatic climax, where the Yankee defends himself using, what else? Modern technology.
Yeah, that final battle is a turning point in the story and really highlights that clash between old and new, progress and tradition. But before we get there, let's go back to the framing story. Twain presents this whole adventure as a manuscript he's discovered, which adds another layer of intrigue.
Right. It's almost like we're uncovering this lost history alongside Twain himself. But let's dive into some specifics about the Yankees' critiques of Arthurian society. He has that jarring encounter with the so-called poor free man, which exposes the grim reality of feudalism. It's a stark reminder of the vast power imbalances inherent in that system. The Yankee, coming from a democratic society, is appalled by how this free man is essentially enslaved to his lord, burdened by unfair taxes and restrictions.
And then there's that disturbing episode with the hanging, which really showcases Twain's own anti-death penalty stance, the casual cruelty of the justice system, where people are hanged for minor offenses. Deeply shocks the Yankee.
Yeah, it forces us to confront the brutality that often lies beneath a romanticized view of the past, even though the Yankee is from the 19th century, a time with its own problems. He still sees the violence and injustice of Arthurian society as something far worse.
He's like a time traveler with a unique perspective, able to critique both eras and reveal their flaws. And we can't forget the Valley of Holiness incident, where he exposes those so-called miracles as complete shams. It's a brilliant satire of religious hypocrisy and manipulation.
The way he manipulates the situation to his advantage is both clever and a bit unsettling. It raises questions about the power of belief and how easily people can be swayed by those in authority, especially when they claim to have supernatural powers.
It reminds me of how Merlin relies on trickery to maintain his reputation as a powerful wizard. It's all about perception and control.
Exactly. And speaking of control, the Yankees' own rise to power in King Arthur's court is fascinating. He becomes this behind-the-scenes influencer, establishing factories, schools, even trying to introduce democratic ideas.
He's almost like a secret power broker, subtly pushing for change, within a system steeped in tradition and hierarchy. But he doesn't try to completely overthrow the monarchy, does he?
No, he's more pragmatic than that. He realizes that radical change would likely be met with resistance and chaos. So he works within the system, using his knowledge and inventions to shift the balance of power. But gradually, it's a delicate dance, and one that ultimately leads to conflict.
Especially with the church. Their opposition to the Yankees' progressive ideas eventually leads to that dramatic showdown we talked about earlier.
Right. The church issues an interdict, a religious boycott that throws the entire kingdom into turmoil. And that sets the stage for the final tragic confrontation between the Yankee and the forces of the old order.
We won't spoil the ending, but let's just say it's a powerful reminder of the limitations of individual agency when facing deeply ingrained societal structures.
It's a heartbreaking but realistic portrayal of the challenges of social change. And even though the story takes place in Arthurian England, it speaks to timeless themes that are still relevant today: the tension between science and faith, the allure and dangers of progress, and the constant struggle for social justice.
A Connecticut Yankee isn't just a historical adventure. It's a thought-provoking exploration of human nature and the enduring challenges we face as a society.
It makes you wonder, what skills and knowledge would we need to navigate a world vastly different from our own? How would we adapt to a world with different values, technologies, and beliefs?
And would we try to change things? Or simply try to survive? It's a question that resonates with the heart of what makes a Connecticut Yankee such a compelling read.
Twain's brilliance lies in his ability to make us laugh, while simultaneously prompting us to think critically about the world around us. And the fact that he does this within the framework of a time travel adventure story is truly remarkable.
Speaking of time travel, the whole idea of the story being presented as a discovered manuscript adds another layer of intrigue. It makes us question the nature of history itself. How much of what we believe is based on fact versus storytelling and interpretation?
It's a reminder that the past isn't static or unchanging. It's constantly being reshaped and reinterpreted through the lens of the present, and in the hands of a master storyteller like Mark Twain. The past can come alive in ways that are both entertaining and profoundly insightful.
So if you're ready for an adventure that will make you laugh, think, and question everything you thought you know about Arthurian England and 19th century America, pick up a copy of A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court.
You'll encounter unforgettable characters like Merlin, Sandy, and the unforgettable Demoiselle Alison la Carteloise. You'll witness the clash of cultures, the allure of progress, and the enduring power of belief.
Twain's timeless classic is sure to leave a lasting impression. And make sure to subscribe to the channel and purchase via the link so you can join the conversation. And share your thoughts on this incredible book. It's remarkable how, even over a century later, A Connecticut Yankee still feels so relevant. We're still grappling with many of the same themes you know: social inequality, the role of technology, the power of belief.
And Twain's ability to tackle these complex issues with humor and satire, that's really what makes this book such a masterpiece. He makes you laugh out loud one minute and then deeply contemplate the human condition the next.
Speaking of laughter, we have to talk about Twain's knack for creating unforgettable characters. Even those with smaller roles, like Demoiselle Alison la Carteloise, are so vividly drawn.
Oh, absolutely. And then there's Merlin. He embodies this archetype of the wise wizard, but Twain cleverly subverts our expectations. He portrays Merlin as this bumbling figure who relies more on trickery and showmanship than genuine magic.
Which is ironic, considering how the Yankee himself uses his knowledge of science and technology to appear magical to the people of Arthur's time.
It's a brilliant way of turning the concept of magic on its head. It makes you question who really holds the power: those who claim supernatural abilities, or those who understand how to manipulate perception and belief.
It's like that saying, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And that resonates even more strongly today. In our world of smartphones and artificial intelligence, we're surrounded by things that would seem like pure magic to people just a few generations ago.
Imagine showing someone from the 19th century a smartphone. They'd probably think it was a magical device, which makes you wonder what Twain would make of our modern world.
Oh, I can only imagine the satire he would unleash.
Yeah.
On social media, the 24-hour news cycle, reality TV. The possibilities are endless.
He'd have a field day. But for now, we encourage you to experience the brilliance of A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court for yourself.
It's a journey back in time, filled with adventure, humor, social commentary, and those incredibly vivid characters that Twain is so famous for.
It's a classic for a reason, and we think you'll find it as relevant and engaging today as it was over 100 years ago.
So go ahead, dive into this timeless tale and see for yourself. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and purchase via the link. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this incredible book.